Hey everybody, it's Ron Jackson, and welcome to my impromptu series on specific subjects that I'm going to go into more detail than my short form videos that I put on TikTok and Instagram and all those other platforms, and even on the shorts videos on YouTube. Today we're going to cover the major bebop scale. Before you do though, please click the button and subscribe to my channel here at Ron Jackson Music here on YouTube, okay? So, we're going to talk about the major bebop scale. We're going to start in the key of B flat, okay? So, that's the scale right there in the key of B flat. Now, basically, the bebop scale, you put a passing tone. It's a major scale with putting a passing tone between the 6th and the 5th degrees of the scale. So, in the key of B flat, the B flat major scale, you should know your major scales really well first before you even delve into any kind of bebop scale, okay? So there's a few different bebop scales, but we're going to go over the major one first. The person that I've learned this from in depth was with Barry Harris, going to his classes on and off for like 20 years. You know, I would go for a while and then I would come back. And every time, it seems like it's always new to me because, you know, you kind of incorporate this stuff into your own playing and it comes out later. And then when you go back, you hear something different. You learn something different. So, so if I'm playing a B flat major scale, which is B flat, C, D, E flat, F, G, A, B flat. Now remember the B flat major scale has 2 flats, okay? And then I'm going to put a passing tone between the F and the G. So it's going to be an F sharp or G flat to a G, now going up the scale. So it sounds like this. Okay. Going up an octave. Now backwards. So you see how I'm playing this every possible fingering? You should be practicing like that. Basically practicing right now for you guys. I'm just basically just trying to play the scale up and down, every possible fingering and position. You should be able to play it up and down the neck like this. On one string. You should know your scales like this anyway. It's a good exercise. I have the music on this on my Patreon site, which is on my YouTube channel description, okay? And if you want the music for this, you know, please definitely subscribe to my Patreon at patreon.com/Ron Jackson Music. Now, so this is a great scale for playing, you know, over any kind of B flat major chord. Okay, I like to use that. This is like the beginning of Donnelly. Okay, you can play it like that, going up and down, etc. Or, I mean, down or up. Now, you can start different ways, too. You can start on the root, and then, okay, you can start on the 2nd degree. You get some cool lines. Etc. And backwards too. You get some cool lines too. See, sometimes they come out a little weird when you start like on the 4th degree of the line. So I would do it like on the end of a beat, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. So when it's on a weird note like the 4th degree, you could actually play on the end of the beat and you land on the 1, like, or on the, you know, on some kind of beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Now you don't have to actually play the whole scale all the way through, all the way down like that. You can go. Now the thing about bebop scales too is that you're gonna have to usually you don't just play a bebop scale. You'll like play like a passing tone or an approach tone. I would go like that. You see, all on B flat, B flat major 7. I would go anyway. Okay. Now here's the thing about the bebop scale I forgot to explain. Now, the reason why it was created, the bebop scales were made, excuse me, so you can play actually the major scale evenly in 8th notes in one measure. So if I play the major scale like a B flat major scale up the scale in 8th notes, you would end on the one on the on the 2nd degree or the 9th away. Watch this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Now, if I played, with that passing tone in there, it actually makes it even. So it's like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and backwards too. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So all the beats fall in line. So, but usually we don't play the bebop scale like from the root up to scale, but this is like a precursor to being able to play bebop. Now, bebop, just so you know, is not, there's no specific rules. This is the bebop scale, but in bebop in general, we usually put passing tones, and we use all kinds of things, different. I have a lesson about the bebop. They use fast rhythms like 16th notes, more complex rhythms, excuse me. Instead of like swing where there's quarter notes, they have 16th notes, 16th note triplets, 8th notes, all kinds of stuff. A lot more reharmonization. Okay, and reharmonization is basically putting another chord over another chord, or thinking of another chord while you're doing that, etc. So while you're playing, while someone's playing, like play a B flat major 7 chord, I can play a bebop scale instead of a regular major scale. I can play like a Lydian. That's reharmonization. I'll be superimposing that onto a chord. So, but in bebop, the thing that you should know it's not a secret, but a lot of guys use approach notes, which is like if I'm playing a B major 7 chord, B flat major 7, you could go. There's all kinds of approach notes. There are 16 of them. I'm going to have to do a lesson about that. Okay, and there's different kinds of approach notes, etc. These are kind of approach notes you can use. Also, there's a lot of passing tones. So there's a passing tone between the 5th and 6th degree in the B flat major scale, the B flat bebop scale. Okay, but the thing is, you could actually put a passing tone between the 6th and 7th too. Okay, which is A flat, G. Or you can play between the 6th. So sometimes I do a line like this. And you can even go between the 1 and 2, B flat, C. See, I just did a bebop line like that. I kind of combine all those things together. And I could do it like from the 3rd degree, which is D in B flat, down to the root. Like that. I like that line. I can go backward. Those are kind of cool lines. So remember, some people start saying, well, if you put them between the whole steps, you start making a chromatic scale. No, you got to be careful. You got to know where your half steps are. So, the half steps are between 3 and 4 and 7 and 1. So, you can do the passing tones between any of those other things. Now, it gets kind of weird when you get to the 4th. You got to change your line if you start doing a chromatic line. So what I did was I did like when I went from the 5th degree to the 4th in B flat, which is F to E flat, and I put a passing tone between. So it's F to E flat. Then I would, to get to the 3rd, it's going off the B, so I would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3. use like like these passing tones, but it really depends on the phrase where you start the passing tone, and you gotta be mindful what key you're in, that you're making sure you hit the right notes on the chord when you're landing. So you have to experiment. Now, a lot of jazz improvisation is actually, what's the word, trial and error. So I'm always doing trial and error when I'm actually performing. In general, when you learn how to improvise, when I started out, even now I still do trial and error. I'll be experimenting, trying to do new licks, play the same old stuff that I've been doing, and try to do it a different way. So I'll take chances and try to do that, because if you're a jazz musician, you want to grow and develop a language to get better and better, or not particularly get better and better, but just to be able to say something different. Like, I'm always playing the same stuff, so I'm always thinking, well, how am I going to vary it? So you have to take chances and experiment. And that's how you learn how to improvise. So some of these suggestions are things that I've learned from experience, playing a lot of gigs, practicing, trying to see what works and what doesn't. So here's another thing about the bebop scale. So one good way to practice the bebop scale too, you get these weird chords, okay? When you play the bebop scale in thirds like this, now I want to tell you something. If you start playing the bebop scale in chords, the first chord you're going to get is a 6th chord, basically, and that's what Barry Harris taught me. So, like, for example, the first chord is going to be a B flat 6 chord. You could do it that way, okay, or like this, or like this with this position. Okay, I'm doing this octave here and this position on the string. Okay, and I'll do it here. Well, this is the voicing too, okay? So you should be able to first do the 6th chord as an arpeggio, okay? Which is actually interchangeable with the minor 7. So in this case, it's G minor 7's the chord. So remember, when we're playing jazz, we substitute like a 6th chord or the 1 chord. Oh, excuse me, the 1 chord with the 6th chord. So, like, that's why you have 1 6 2 5. Now, 1 6 2 5 is basically 1 5, but we put the 6, to substitute the 1, and then we put the 2 to substitute the 5. So when I'm playing, sometimes I'll think like that. If someone's playing 1 5, I'll do 1 6 2 5, or vice versa, the other way around. So you should be able to play the 6th chord in arpeggios like this, in closed voicings like this. Now, if you see, this is just like the G minor 7 chord. Every possible fingering. Okay. Etc. Okay, and the 6th string too. It's more complicated on the 6th. Etc. Okay, so I would practice this first the 6th chord during in arpeggios like this, in inversions. That's what I mean exactly. And then, so what happens with the major bebop scale and the melodic minor bebop scale is that when you go up the scale in chords, now it gets really, really interesting. So usually you're going to go from the 6th, you're going to go up to 6th to diminished, okay? So actually you're going from a 1, it's almost like a 1 to a 5, but you're using diminished. So it's like going from B flat to F dominant 9, or sharp 9, or whatever, altered. But you're actually going like this, you're actually playing between a B flat diminished and a C diminished, and it's inversion. Okay, so if I'm playing up the scale now and as a major bebop scale using the chords, it would sound like this. This is really cool. So I'm going to try to name them out loud while I'm playing them. I got to think though. Okay, listen to this. So it's a B flat 6 going up, first inversion, root position, then C diminished, then first inversion, B flat 6 to E flat diminished, okay, and then second inversion, B flat 6 to G flat diminished, or F sharp, okay? And then you're gonna go to third inversion, B flat 6 to A diminished, okay? Then you're back to 1. So it sounds like this if you're playing up the scale. I'm gonna try to do it slow. And it's a cool sound. You'll hear, this sounds like the song Bebop from Dizzy Gillespie, but they do it in minor. So we'll get to melodic minor bebop in another, impromptu workshop for you guys here on YouTube. Okay, watch this. So this is going to be the same thing I just played. I'm not going to say them out loud this time. I'm going to actually play them. So that's a real cool sound. So you go from 6 diminished, 6 diminished. Now, we're playing the chords like that. You should learn your chords like that too. Then you should be able to play the arpeggios. You should be able to go like this. Well, I would just do thirds first. I would go. Now, this is kind of tricky. Now, you're going to do thirds, and then there's a diminished interval. And then when you get to the next note, it's kind of weird. It's going to be like, oh, it's not this one actually. The next is diminished, so this is a regular third, sorry. Now the next one's going to be, which is the 5 to the 6, okay, or the F to the G. This is the where it gets weird. You're going to, instead of playing like F to an A, which is like a third away, Barry does this. He makes it a 5 to 6. So that's the only time it gets really weird. You only have this two fret or 1 step away chords. This makes a B flat 6 chord. That's what he's talking about. So when you're playing up the scale, you're actually going. Now you get diminished. Now you get the 6. Now again, etc. Etc. Okay, so now this is just in thirds. Now you're gonna add another third. Okay, you're gonna go. Then you get the diminished. Now you're gonna get the B flat. You get a C diminished. Now here's a weird thing. You're gonna go D, which is the first inversion. You're gonna hit F, then you're gonna hit G. So you're gonna go. That's what's really strange for me, but it works. Watch this. You go to the diminished, the B flat diminished. Now you're gonna hit the F again. You hit the G to the B flat again. So let me go up through that again slowly. Watch it. Oh, here we go. I missed that note. It's tricky. So I'm doing the same kind of scale, but I'm doing it. I'm doing thirds now. Okay. So I mean a whole triad. Excuse me. Three note chord. Going up the scale. One more time. I gotta practice it. Now, here's the last one. Sorry. You gotta keep going up. Okay. Now, I would practice that every possible way. Okay. And you would practice it every possible way. Then you practice it backwards, forwards, whatever way you want. So so remember this. So you get the 1, 6 diminished. Then you do all the inversions going up the scale, and it's a really cool lick. You can actually go like play some cool licks like this. Like let me think about this. I would go up and down the neck like this, and you can go across too. But you get some real cool licks if you're actually playing bebop. Trying to play bebop through like just a B flat major scale. But usually this scale, if you're playing jazz in general, you're not going to be like playing just on one chord. So you're gonna have to be able to adapt and change the scale according to the chord you're in that's playing changes. Okay, so so there's more I could talk about with bebop and the major bebop scale, but this is enough for you guys to practice right now. So remember, the bebop scale is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But remember to put the passing tone between the 5 and 6. Remember, it's not a tension. People say it's a tension, like they go D, they go B flat, C, D, E flat, F. They think that's a sharp 5 or flat 13 or something. It's not. It's a passing tone. Because a passing tone is a note that's off the beat. And if I stayed on the note and went like this, now that would be a tension because I'm going to stay on it. But this is just a passing note. Etc. Okay, so this is a great device for jazz improvisation and any kind of improvisation actually, and you should really expand your bebop. Listen to the players, all the masters: Dizzy Gillespie, Charlie Parker, Bud Powell, he's great. Barry Harris, the living master, he just turned 90, and this is a great technique. There's a bunch of other bebop scales too. Remember, this scale is only just a scale, so you got to make it musical. And I was just showing you some exercises that I need to practice too. You have to keep up with this stuff. But when I play bebop, and I have my own way of improvising. I actually mix all these different ideas up, and I don't play just like scale like this, but I know how to put them in the right place. And that's a whole different story we could talk about another day. So that was my introduction to major bebop in the key of B flat, just for a different key instead of C. And if you have any questions, please email me if you'd like to take lessons. There's my contact on the description. Also, please subscribe. And if you want to join my Patreon, you can get the lessons about this, all the written music about this at www.patreon.com/Ron Jackson Music. Thanks a lot for listening for my impromptu lesson with no edits or anything. And and this is just like real life, where we're experimenting. And this is much more real than editing all my videos like I used to do on YouTube. I'd rather just be like we're in a lesson together, having fun and just taking it easy. Okay, thank you everybody. This is Ron Jackson. I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.